There once was a child who loved Illinois. Justice was his name, and he had a burning desire to excel. Justice studied hard and spent every spare second practicing basketball. Getting better every day, getting good enough to one day play for Illinois. That day finally came. Time to say goodbye, he told his mother. Time to go to Illinois.
I think the will to win is the ability or the need to compete.
You can't be afraid of anything. You can't back down from anyone, or else you'll just fall by the wayside.
Whatever it takes.
Burning desire.
Lou used to say that all the time. Burning desire was one of his favorite sayings. It was a way to motivate you, saying that you didn't have desire, and he was challenging you.
And most of all, in basketball, as well as life, you must have that burning desire to excel.
Hey, you gotta have the burning desire in you. That's good.
Competition.
Illinois.
Desire to meet the challenge.
Burning desire to excel.
As you prepare for life, as your parents and your teachers prepare you for life, then those same techniques apply to you preparing for the game of basketball.
People with burning desire have a tendency to take it to another level.
All things made from stars dance in a great dance. On his way to Illinois, Justice danced a happy dance. Suddenly, as he neared a fork in the road, Shovelman and Oysterflaw were walking beside him. "Are you alone?" said Oysterflaw. "Why don't you come with us?" "Don't go to Illinois," said Shovelman. "Team ball? What are you talking about? You'd make a great Mr. Superstar," said Shovelman, in his most sincere voice, poking his elbow into the ribs of Justice. Justice looked up into the blue, blue sky and imagined himself as Mr. Superstar. At that moment, he took the wrong road. Oysterflaw was talk. "You're coming with us, right? Mr. Justice Superstar? We're buddies, right?" "Be quiet," Justice finally said when he realized what he had done. "I don't want to be Mr. Superstar. I think I'll be on my way to Illinois." "Too late to think," said Shovelman. Too late for you. Too late for Illinois.
First of all, you have to consider that Illinois has a history and a record. Under Neil Stoner, the university, the institution of the Athletic Association, that part of it was under investigation or on probation virtually the entire time that Neil Stoner was on campus.
Someone says the NCAA is investigating you, then everybody outside that immediate circle automatically thinks you're guilty.
I felt Illinois was guilty every time before, except in the Wilson case.
I really felt like during those 17 months that no one was actually seeking the truth, that they were actually seeking a conviction, that the only thing that really mattered was that I be found guilty, or that the university be found guilty.
He was so successful in his job that people had to play dirty tricks on him in order to try to bring him down.
And if they want to be unfair, they can still be unfair regardless of the rules. I've said before, if you got a crooked judge, he doesn't care what the laws are.
Think about it like this. You're falsely accused by an all-powerful institution that is sheriff and judge and jury. What are you going to do, surrender or fight?
Basketball is a great dance.
Bring your best to the dance.
It can be a rough dance or it can be a ballet. It's whatever you want to choose. When I was playing in the Big Ten, it was a pretty rough dance, more like a polka.
Basketball is a great dance.
Life is a great dance.
Bring your best to the dance.
It's never too late to go where you want to be, said Justice. He broke free from Shovelman. He broke free from Oysterflaw. A lightning bolt with many arms and legs split the sky. Shovelman and Oysterclaw fell to the ground, shaking and crying. Justice ran across the prairie, heading for Illinois. But Shovelman and Oysterclaw were partners with Sheriff Judge Jury. And Sheriff Judge Jury sent his cruel deputies to keep justice away from Illinois. He sent David the Worst, riding Silliams D. Williams, his constantly braying Virginia donkey. He sent Nutberry Smirt, the reluctant mute. He sent Benedict Nowak and greedy Mike Slima. He sent Rhubarb Randy Reich III.
The evidence showed beyond a reasonable doubt that Illinois was innocent. No one in authority was interested in the evidence. There was no place else to go, except to the people of Illinois.
By telephone contacts and a certain amount of investigation on my own part and receiving information that other people had gathered, I came to some conclusions fairly early in this case that Illinois was not guilty of the 11 allegations in the original official inquiry, and it turns out that they weren't.
Once our administrators who investigated themselves and checked into our players and found out how they were living in the community and found out how I was living in the community, they knew it wasn't real.
Back in Illinois, the potentate was looking north and east and west and south. He saw Sheriff Judge Jury's deputies closing in on justice. The potentate sounded the alarm. Onward to save justice came the warriors of Illinois. Onward, Abraham Lincoln Beckett and Golden Mark. Onward, the potentate and the Knight of the White Squirrel. Onward, mighty Jack Mack. Onward, good King Ike-like. The deputies of Sheriff Judge Jury did not believe in a fair fight. The warriors of Illinois did not believe in an unfair fight. How could justice be saved?
I think that good does have a power.
Some of the basic principles that you learn in competing in basketball are very basic to the way we live.
Lou Henson is the most decent human being I've ever been around. It's one of those kind of feelings you get when you see a person. When you see them, what you see is what you get.
Has a very good philosophical background, things that probably young people need to hear today, things that maybe aren't stressed as much today as they were 20, 25, 40 years ago.
The game doesn't carry over into the office. He doesn't take out his frustrations on the people in the office, the staff. The game is over, and he goes on to the next one. He's just a super person to work for.
This is a guy that wants to be a basketball coach. He has two important things in his life: his family and basketball.
He's a very tough coach.
Thorough, very thorough, very pragmatic, scientific, very scientific person.
Play defense. We've all got to play defense. Hey, run three game, run it, turn it over, three, run it. That's it. That was a horrible call. It was a horrible call. That was a bad call.
Yeah, I think basketball is a sport where it involves a whole team and not just one individual player.
Learning that you're not the only guy that's important, there's others that have to fit in.
You have to play with others instead of just trying to do something for yourself.
Teamwork.
Well, you learn a lot of teamwork and not to be greedy and to make friends with other people.
Sacrificing yourself for the overall good of the team is the only way you're going to be successful, and you'll be able to accomplish much, much more.
One of the most beautiful things in the world is to take a group of people, in this case young men in my profession, and see them give up individual accomplishments for the sake of the team, and to give up selfishness for the sake of a team and to be successful.
It's not to say that Illinois hasn't had its individual stars. Certainly they have, and if you look at an NBA roster or NBA rosters, you know that. But when they're on the floor, they're Illini.
You want it really bad. You want the game really bad.
Kids learn to cope with winning and losing, the traditional values of sportsmanship.
Just taught me to be nice to everybody and use good teamwork.
That's the same in life.
Good has a power we do not fully understand. By that power, against all odds, sheriff, judge, jury was defeated. King Eichleich soon made sure that no one could at the same time be sheriff and judge and jury.
The whole
is greater
greater than the sum
of
its parts.
The whole is greater than the sum of its parts.
Steve Bardo will inbound it. Then it comes to Nick Anderson. Long jumper, Anderson. God! Anderson hits it! Anderson hits it! Anderson hits it! Illinois wins! Illinois wins! Illinois wins! Illinois wins! Oh, baby! I see the Assembly Hall as a kind of a Camelot.
You have the great city of Chicago, and then, of course, the fertile farmlands in central and southern Illinois.
People may not get along with their neighbors. People might not get along with family members. People may not get along with their bosses. But when they come into this arena, everybody gets along.
There will be people that you'll stand side by side with, maybe watching the game on television, or maybe sit next to someone in the assembly hall that you never knew before. But once the game gets going, you're slapping high fives with them.
Camelot is supposed to be a place where everything is perfect. And all kinds of people come to the games at the Assembly Hall. Old and young, rich and poor, tall and short, city slickers, people from rural backgrounds, and to go back to the play and to the words of that wonderful song that for a few brief, shining moments, it's Camelot.
It's a love. It's something you feel as a coach. It's something you feel as a player. And I think it's something you feel as a fan. You don't like Illinois basketball. You love it.
Things that Randy Ruckert brought were rejected. So I think there was an area of embarrassment there for Randy Ruckert at the end, and I'm not surprised he's out of the NCAA now.
Bruce Pearl has to be called on the carpet for what he has done. It has to be brought to light to the nation that the dastardly thing that he did, calling up a 17-year-old youngster and pestering him over and over and over and over again until he got him to say what he wanted him to say.
And we didn't understand, I don't think, the collusion between the infractions committee and the enforcement staff, and the fact that the infractions committee does not want the enforcement staff to look bad, apparently, because they had to find something, and they did.
Imagine the stress of being wrongly accused, feeling a need to prove your innocence, and being up against the system denying you your right. Jimmy Collins faced that pressure. I'm sure it lingers.
I feel really bad for LaFonso because LaFonso he knows he lied. And he knows the reasons why, but he knows he lied. And he knows that if he ever has to look at my face, he's going to have to tell me he's sorry.
I'm not saying that we can't have it sort of healed and go on with our lives. I think we've done that already. But we'll never forget.
Though Illinois was treacherously wounded, good can turn wrong into right. Justice came at last to Illinois. He studied hard and played the game he loved for the team he loved. Go where you want to be, he often said. That's the way to win. You might see a young man working hard in school, spending every spare second playing basketball, thinking about team ball, getting good enough to one day play for Illinois.
Triumph is setting goals and accomplishing those goals.
You dreamed when you shot baskets of playing for the Illini and taking the last shot and winning the game.
Excellence means putting forth your maximum effort and getting results from it.
The Final Four team, they just, you never knew when those guys were going to come up and do something fantastic.
We put together a team that really wasn't supposed to make it, but all of us put forth the effort, and therefore we turned out excellence.
Excellence.
Triumph. Triumph and excellence.
From KG. Don't forget the law from Larry. Lowski will grab the rebound. Old Nick will jam it down. All the crew, that's what we can do. Small and Liberty will do it too. Oh, but I forgot old Coach Lou. He's the guy that's the head of the crew. Shoo-wop, shoo-wop.
It's a satisfying feeling to know that the work, the effort, your game plan, the response that the players give you all come together and provide you with a victory.
Oh, it was the best feeling I've ever felt in my life.
Hey, I didn't think it was gonna be this good, but it feels good. Yes.
I drafted by Illinois, and I was a ball handler, and we won the Big Ten championship.
I dream about going down with 2 seconds left and dunking and winning the game for Illinois.
I play outside by myself sometimes and make the winning shots and stuff for Illinois.
I just want it to be me someday playing out on the court.
Making the last second shot.
Dribbling down the court, 3 seconds left. We're down 2, hitting the tray.